Hey everybody, welcome to US Gamers live reactions to last night's Nintendo Switch event. I'm here with Mike Williams, who is to my right, or maybe to my left. I'm not sure. Um, I was kind of doing the little switchy thing because I think that's what they were doing throughout the presentation. There was like snap, and then they were like switching because snapping and switching, it's the same thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong, Mike?
No, you are correct. The gentleman who was showing off the Switch Joy-Con features was snapping whenever he would change.
Yeah, snap, snap. It's very catchy. I don't know. That was my favorite part of the presentation, which maybe sounds a little dire, but we're going to get into all of the breakdown of everything that's coming out the Switch, the price, the launch date, the games that are coming out for it, the whole nine yards. Because we got a lot to talk about. Yeah, we had some reactions, we had some takes on the main website already. As you might expect, mine was a little strong. Jeremy was like, "I like it," but I think the place that we should start, Mike, is the good stuff. Let's talk about the good stuff. And I think the first thing I would say in terms of the good stuff is Zelda. Anybody? Because oh my God, Zelda looked amazing.
Yeah, that Zelda trailer was indeed the highlight, and I honestly think it saved the entire thing.
The entire thing.
Yeah, it was an amazing trailer, and the addition of voice acting.
Yep.
It's been one of those things that I wouldn't say Nintendo's been fighting, but now that it's there, it's like, oh man,
Man, yeah.
that is so good.
Yeah,
So,
thank God. Like because when I was playing at E3, it seemed so empty. Yeah, because I think that's the point, right? You wake up in this temple and then you go out onto this empty world and you're like cooking and stuff. And you're like, okay, so is this the whole game? And I'm like exploring some temples and stuff. But in the trailer, it seemed to be indicating like that there's kind of an epic story going on.
yeah, there's an epic story, and there's still a lot of that. There's definitely a lot of exploring. Skyrim's they have the shrines of trials, I believe, 100 of them.
Yeah.
Um, so there's going to be a lot of Skyrim, Fallout-esque, open world exploration. But yeah, no, that story looks interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, Man, looks so good.
No. I so I don't often get goosebumps at video game trailers anymore. I don't even really get goosebumps at movie trailers. There are two things that never fail to give me goosebumps: a good Zelda trailer, and actually a good Rockstar trailer. Like those two things, like never fail to get me be like, yeah, I'm totally buying this game. Like right the heck now.
I'm trying to remember the last Rockstar trail. I mean,
Well, I mean, it
the
would have
Red
been
Dead.
GTA 5.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, that was a good trail. That was a good trailer.
I thought Red Dead Redemption back in the day had an amazing trailer.
See, that totally like passed me by. I still haven't played it. I own it.
What? That's the
Yeah,
best. That's the single best Rockstar game ever made.
yeah, but I've never been a Western guy. So
You don't have to be a Western guy
I
or
bought it
gal.
on Xbox backward compatible, and I will probably play it. And maybe I'll do a Let's Play of Mike's first time playing Red Dead Redemption.
Maybe you should. That's a long game though. Uh,
Yeah.
and turn off the auto aim. But that's neither here nor there. Except, I suppose we'll talk a little bit later about the Nintendo Switch's relationship to Red Dead Redemption 2, which is going to be interesting. Okay, so other good
Mario
things.
Odyssey.
Other good things.
Mario
Mario
Odyssey
Odyssey. Yeah.
looked good. The city parts reminded me oddly of like the latter era Sonic games for some reason.
That's yeah.
Like
Somebody said Sonic '06. And I was like, yeah, that's not good.
like
Okay,
like
that's a comparison.
yeah, it's I think it's that the mix of Mario and the real city or
Hmm.
new Donk City.
New Donk City.
Yes.
So great.
Um, it just recalls that sort of feeling, but it looks good. I mean, I've always been a strong proponent of Galaxy,
Mm-hmm.
the Galaxy series, and this looks to be more in the Sunshine Galaxy vein than the slower Mario World 3D World game.
Yeah, it's to be perfectly honest, it's been way too freaking long since we've last had a quote unquote real Mario game. I mean, yeah, New Super Mario Brothers, fine. I cannot care less about New Super Mario Brothers anymore. Uh, but whatever, it's still a thing. Super Mario 3D World, really good. Um, but it felt like it was missing something. I don't know. Like it wasn't your typical Mario game. It was like the zany, bonkers kind of game. Like I played with four of my friends. We like ran into each other a whole bunch. It was wacky. That was pretty much it. And then
Yeah.
we got to Super Mario, and now we have Super Mario Odyssey. This feels like the real deal. This is the last time I really, really, really enjoyed a Mario game was Super Mario Galaxy back in 2000, humna humna, 2007. That's a long time ago. And yes, I know
Yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy 2 also came out. I missed that one. I'm sorry, I'm a bad person. I'm told that was a good game though.
It
Bob
is.
Bob said it was like maybe one of the best Mario's ever. But basically, we've needed this. And this is the game that we need because Mario has been getting a lot of like little games, like a lot of kind of spin-offy type.
New Super Mario Brothers,
You know,
technically Mario Maker.
oh well, Mario
Uh,
Maker,
yeah.
obviously, but that's I love the experimentation. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but we just needed a true adventure, and this we're finally getting it. Yay! And it's coming out this holiday. That's double good because oh my god, Nintendo's going to need that when they're selling the Switch at the holidays.
They're so gonna need it. They're so gonna need it. What else was good?
Mario
Arms
Kart
looked
8.
decent.
What looks good?
Arms.
Um, So I think it's easy to make fun of arms because I mean it's like Wii Sports Boxing, but with extendo arms, and
It looks
it was going a little Fist of the North Star in there.
so before when we were talking about games that we wanted to see, it was one of the community questions. I was saying Super Punch Out.
Mm,
And Arms is probably what Nintendo would have made of Super Punch Out for the Switch. Yeah, very much. So I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, I mean that's pretty much what I asked for with just a different aesthetic, different set of characters. So Arms, I'm kind of looking forward to. You said Mario Kart 8 Deluxe,
mm-hmm.
battle mode's back, yay.
Woo!
Um, I'm not so super excited about paying $60 for it
Again.
uh, again. So
In fact, I
uh,
probably won't. Though it's gonna have new tracks, right?
a couple new tracks, a revamped battle mode, new characters, new vehicles.
And portable.
It is very exciting,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no.
but $60. That's
Oh
it's.
man, $60. That is the tripping point that they're going to hit. But getting back to what we were talking about with arms, the thing that really took me off guard was how much they were trying to kind of recapture the magic of the Wii back in the day by like really highlighting the casual and kind of motion control offerings. This was very Blue Ocean all over again, and I gotta say that was not what I was expecting. Do you think that aspect of the show, like taking it outside of our purviews, because I don't know that we necessarily care, but do you think that might have been a successful pitch to mainstream gamers who would be like, new Nintendo console, and it's kind of like the Wii?
So the problem with that is I think that's part of the pitch, as is one two switch. But the issue there is something that's probably a separate topic, and that's price.
Mm-hmm.
Um, $300 for the Switch puts it right at price parity with the Xbox One and
The PlayStation 4,
PS4,
yeah.
which both at $300 come with the game and have much larger libraries.
We'll get to
So
that later. We're talking about the good
yeah,
stuff. We're talking about the good stuff.
yeah. So yes, that was their point, as is 1-2 Switch, sort of a hey, look at all the motion control stuff you can do. I was kind of weirded out by the IR pointer thing
Hmm.
because they were just like, look at this thing it can do, and we're never going to do anything with it. so,
Yep. So really
so
quickly, we got people in the chat. Hi, people in the chat. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to our hot takes. Thank you for listening to us. And really quickly, before we continue, Mike, I just wanted to read some of the comments that we're getting. Kevin Bench, or sorry, Charles John was saying Arms looks like it could be a weird fighting game popular. Maybe. I think it's more like weird party game popular, where everybody gets really drunk and then they're like kind of swinging wildly with the Joy Cons that are going to cost like $80. But I digress. Um, Sorry, Icy Bin Maya. Sorry if I'm pronouncing you. Sitting here staring at my GameCube catalog, wondering when they're going to be available digitally. Did they already have some GameCube games available digitally on the Wii U?
uh,
No, was it Wii
no,
games?
it's Wii games,
Wii games.
but they're supposed to have. That was the ongoing rumor. Like we're all expecting GameCube Virtual Console, and hopefully the chance to rebuy all of our other Virtual Console games.
And DC12 said $300 for the Switch. It's a tough sell compared to the other systems, but not really since people spend twice that for an iPad. And he's not
More
wrong. He's not
more on that
wrong.
more on that later when we talk about price.
Yes. Uh, History of Dance, Dragon Quest for America, though, frowny face.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
it'll come out, just not this year, or
yeah,
probably
there
next
there
year.
was a lot of also ran games. We sort of skipped over Splatoon 2. It's probably going to be great. But there are a lot of games that are just sort of like uh out there in the like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Fire Emblem Warriors, um Minecraft Switch Edition, Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. There's an unnamed Tales of game that Bandai Namco announced.
Yep.
Octopath Travelers, which is by the Bravely Default team, and looks to be a turn-based RPG.
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, but yeah, that's to be expected. I mean, they have a nice little market, but anyway, actually, Francois Oliver brought up an interesting point, or is it Olivier? My apologies. How do you feel about the 32 gigs of internal storage and micro SD support? Ah, that's a good point. 32 gigs? Holy crap! I felt like I'm gonna fill up my dang PS4 at 500 gigs.
So some of that is taken up likely by the system OS. And Zelda, we actually now, thanks to the website, have a size for is 13.4 gigs.
Okay, so that's
So
half the
that's,
system.
yeah, that's half the system right there. So um, you're either going to be buying physical or you're going to be shelling out for a big micro SD card,
A really big
uh,
one.
a really big
But
one.
we're talking about like PS4 Pro's a terabyte at this point. I mean, game sizes are huge. So what are they expecting? And digital is more of a thing than ever. I
The the
mean,
pro- I agree, but the problem is there was no way to fit anything outside of flash memory sizes in the Switch. And this is one of the I wrote an article about this. It's sort of it's a portable, it's a home console. It has the strengths, but it also has the weaknesses of both. And this is one of those weaknesses. Um,
mm,
they're pretty much, I mean, as it stands, if you're going for the Switch, you're either gonna, like with my Vita, I carry a ton of uh, the little
the
card
little micro
slots.
SD cards, yeah. The
Yeah, and
proprietary memory.
yeah, and I bought a big Vita card for my system, so this is the way it's gonna be. We just have to suck it up. That's the
Yeah,
portable life.
you wrote an article on the site. Was it uh, as a hybrid, some of the strengths, also all of the weaknesses? So I guess this is a kind of a case in point, right? So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because you can the like a f- the even to get 500 gigs. I mean, that would be so prohibitively expensive in
Yeah.
SD card and flash size. It's
Will you be
there
able
was
to swap out the hard drive though?
uh you won't be able to I think the onboard 32 gigs is just there.
Well,
But
because you could do that with the 3DS basically.
yeah, you can swap in the 3DS. I figure it will work exactly like the 3DS because I have like two micro SD cards on my 3DS
Hmm.
that I swap in and out. Um, but well, I used to. Now I just have I think a 128
Anyway,
gig.
we went down the rabbit hole on this one, so let's keep talking about strengths really quickly. So yeah, strengths. Can we talk a little bit about that controller, the Joy Cons? Putting aside the fact that they're kind of expensive. I mean, they seem pretty cool, right? I mean, they seem like truly the next evolution of the Wii remote.
Nintendo threw as much as they could into them,
Yeah,
uh, and
it feels
they
like they
are,
went all in on the controller,
yeah, they
which was
are very
an interesting strategy on their part.
very malleable. I mean, you got each one can be used as its own controller. We found out most of the stuff from the patents, but like you got shoulder buttons inside here, kind of tiny for my huge hands, but that's fine. That's
God, they
fine.
are small, aren't they?
Yeah, no, they're tiny
I
little
was
controllers.
shocked by how small. I was like, my first thought was, oh man, that's kind of big. And then I saw it and I was like, whoa, that thing is tiny.
Yeah, but together they look solid. You got enough buttons on both of them. You got
Hmm.
NFC reader, IR. You got the new share button, um, HD Rumble, which I'm trying to figure out.
What is
that
HD Rumble?
uh, it just looks to be improved haptic feedback, but
Okay,
Nintendo gave it a name.
sure.
Shades of Blast Processing.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. They did the same thing with the Xbox One controller.
yeah. So
Always got to have the gimmick.
um, it's sounding like I've seen on Twitter from some people who are playing it, other journalists right now, that the triggers are not analog; they're digital on the Joy Cons.
Mm.
So I mean, there's a give and take. But they look to be very interesting controllers, far more than the Switch itself, which is just a screen with stuff inside of it.
But that's why I'm going to buy it. Because it's a screen with stuff inside it. And I can take it in my luggage. I mean,
Yeah,
that ultimately is the selling point for me. It's a hybrid console. It's cool. Like I can plug it into my TV or I can take it on the go. I was thinking, so I pre-ordered one as soon as it was announced, or like as soon as it was pre-orders open. I got one in Best Buy, and like I winced a little bit at the price, but and then I was thinking about playing Zelda, and I was like going, oh, yeah, no, I love the idea of just being able to pick it up from its dock and bring it over to my chair or whatever and sit around and play it for a couple hours. I mean, yeah, you could do that with the Wii U gamepad, but the range on that thing was hilariously bad, actually. And from like, if you got like a foot away from the receiver, it just stopped working. So
yeah.
I could play on my couch near my TV, but I couldn't take it like say into bed with me. Um, so yeah, that's really appealing to me actually. And even though it has a really low battery life, the appeal of it bringing on like a plane or something is also very strong. So I I've said before that as long as Nintendo got the other details right, like the third party, support and everything else, it would sell itself. And I think fundamentally, like the fundamental concept is still very strong, at least compared to the Wii U.
And so like this is why I liked Jeremy's uh, article today, his opinion piece, uh, and I agree largely with that. And I want to stress that that's when we start talking about the cons, that
Joy Cons? Eh?
the Switch as a concept and as a system is something that I personally love. It is exactly what I want. Um, and I'm excited for the games coming for it, and I've already pre-ordered one. But putting aside, like, me enjoying something does not mean that the mainstream is going to
But does it matter?
catch
Does
on.
it matter if it catches on in the mainstream? What were we
Uh,
talking about? Like the static totally just wiped my brain.
as I was saying, the Wii U, I honestly think the Wii U was that sort of hard niche audience,
Hmm.
and Nintendo left that behind. I feel kind of early for a reason.
Hmm.
Um, and I think aiming again for that audience is not great. They need people beyond us.
They need kids. It used to be their core audience.
Yeah.
And now
Uh,
this thing is going to be competing squarely with the iPad for attention. But here's the deal, it looks like a tablet, and it's cheaper than a tablet, and it has Mario on it, and it will probably have Pokemon.
but, but, and here's the thing about that. Everyone already has an iPad.
That is true. iPads
Mobile
are ubiquitous.
devices and tablets are sunk cost to most people already. So the problem that the Switch has, in my mind, is that it is trying to justify itself as an extra expense against stuff people already own, against tablets they already have, or home consoles they already have.
Yep. By the way, Mark, you're getting a teeny bit of static, so you might want to check into that. Um, okay, there we go. Technology. Oh my God. The wonders of technology and trying to do a live stream over Skype. All right, Mike, if you're still there, if you're still
I'm
alive,
still here.
Mike. All right. Um, I think this is the point where we talk about cons or joy cons, I suppose. Well, that's a, okay. Anyway, that was me like switching over to cons. Did you see? Did you see what I did there? Yeah. All right.
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
All right. Let's talk about the price. Okay. $299. I think everybody was saying that it was too expensive from the off. Now, here's the thing. Here's one thing. Here's one counterpoint that I've heard to it. And I want to hear what your thoughts are. People have said that it had to be $300 because anything less would make it actually seem too cheap and therefore like a toy and shouldn't be purchased. What do you think of that?
I think 250 should have been the price. And the real reason for that is now, if 1-2 Switch had been a pack-in at 299, I think that could have worked.
Yeah, but it's going to be a
But
$60 game.
yeah, 50, yeah, it's $50. So that's 350 like at the bare minimum unless I whatever there's one game Snipper Clips.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be $20. It's digital only. But otherwise, like the big launch games start at $50. So that's 350 right there,
Yep.
just for the system and a game.
Yep. Way
And
too much. Let's be honest. It's just way too much, especially when the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, which are going to be much desirable items this fall with Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out, uh, and they're going to be the same price for a PS4 Slim or an Xbox One Slim. That is not good. That is not good
yeah,
for Nintendo.
and over this holiday season, those systems were both going for 250 with pack-in games. Um, and yes, you can say that Nintendo offers the Switch Hybrid offers a different value. But having sold games at retail, I can tell you that a parent will walk in, look at the price, look at how many games are on the shelf, and then they will go with probably a PS4.
Yep. And let's be honest, at school, all the kids are going to be talking about PS4. All the kids are going to be talking about Xbox. They're going to be talking about how cool Red Dead Redemption 2 looks, or how cool whatever looks. And like Nintendo isn't cool; it's the kid stuff, right? So
Yeah. So
I don't
like right
know.
now, I feel like Nintendo is going to repeat what was the early part of the 3DS, which is they launched it, it sort of sold in the beginning and then plateaued, and Nintendo was
Hard.
like, crap.
And Nintendo
And then
went
they
like
dropped
they
the
went hard
price.
on that one. They dropped the price like big time. They introduced the ambassador program. You remember that?
Right. So I feel like the Switch is going to repeat
But it's
that
going to have such a stronger lineup right at the right at the start. It's going to have Zelda. 3DS 3DS and Wii U did not have that at the start. It's going to have Mario in the fall. It is going to have the first party support this time around, unlike the Wii U, which did not get first party support for quite a while. And let's be honest, like I can't remember when the first 3DS killer app came out. Like I'm kind of racking my brains. Uh, it didn't really pick up in my mind until the 3DS XL came out, and that was
yeah.
like 2012. Okay, so it's like year and a half. By the end of 2012, we had some pretty solid games coming out for the thing.
What was the first one? Was it
I
Poke?
hadn't I couldn't tell you. I do remember that when I finally invested in it, I was like, yeah, okay. But they were like putting out stuff like Star Fox 64 3DS. Like that was like they put out Mario Kart 7, which a lot of people was kind of thought was kind of weak. It just didn't have that killer app. The Switch has the killer app at launch.
I don't know if it's enough. That's just I think it's great. I just don't know if it's enough.
I don't know
And
that it's enough to ensure its long-term survival, but it's a start. It's
it
a
is a start.
system seller. That has
Uh,
been the thing that Nintendo's been lacking the last two console launches has been a
and
true system seller.
Breath of the Wild is a great system seller.
Oh my god. I mean that
Um,
trailer. I mean that trailer, right?
yeah. It starts to add up. So you got $300 for the system. Let's say you go with 1-2 switch. That's another $50. That's 350. Uh, Maybe you add some storage. So let's say another $40. God forbid if you want to add any other accessory. Another dock is $90.
Yeah, that stuff
Uh,
is way too expensive.
a single Joy-Con is $50. A Joy-Con dual pack is 80, and the charge grip is 30. And I don't think they made this clear to people, but so there's the Joy-Con grip that comes with the system. That's just a plastic shell. That's not the charge grip. And they don't sell that separately. The only grip they sell is the charge grip.
Mm-hmm.
So the plastic grip with the system won't charge your Joy-Cons while you're using it. If you want that, the one with the little lights and everything, that's another $30.
Yeah, talk about getting nickel and dimed. Jeez. Right
Yeah.
out of the gate. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I just Nintendo never makes it easy for themselves, do they? It
They want
feels
to
like
fight.
people want to buy Nintendo stuff so much, and Nintendo's like, yeah, but you have to eat a bowl of spiders too. And people are
Yeah.
like, I'll eat your bowl of spiders, so if I can get Zelda, okay, fine.
Oh,
Not that the
yeah.
Switch is a bowl of spiders. I already said it looks way more appealing than the Wii U. I mean, you don't have to work very hard to do that, but and we actually haven't. We also haven't talked about the online plan, which is going to be free into the fall, and then we'll have a price attached to it. And I don't know about you, but I have an Xbox Live Gold and a PSN account already. It's going to be tough to justify that extra expense.
A lot of people have said that, but I honestly think that's just something that people will mentally. That is goes into one of those sunk costs, like I was saying with the iPad. Like online services are just something that you're just like, well, if I want to play online, I'll pay it. Like I don't think about my Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus subscriptions. Like I don't even remember them until they come around again.
Hmm.
So I don't necessarily like some people have said that, like yourself, that the online is sort of a stumbling block. But I think most people who will buy a system will just be like, they'll buy a system and they'll be like, oh, online costs something, I'll pay it.
It's been
Now,
normalized.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if Nintendo screws it up, if it's not good, then they have a larger problem. But I don't think online of itself is a problem. One thing I do think is a problem is that Zelda is a system seller, uh, but many of the people who would buy Zelda already own a Wii U.
Yeah, that's a problem. And they're just gonna buy it on Wii U. But here's the deal: the Wii U has a terrible install base.
It does. It does. I just looked just to see. So the Wii U is 13 million units worldwide.
Yeah,
And that is,
that's like half of what the GameCube ultimately did.
yeah, GameCube is 21 million.
Okay, so it didn't even hit the GameCube, which everybody, despite the love for it, was kind of a failure.
Yeah, and N64 was 32. So I'm worried that if Nintendo doesn't course correct, the Switch is 30 million at best.
Okay,
Uh,
so
mm,
that's more than double of the Wii U,
yeah.
but
So
it not
better than the
without
Wii
a
U,
but
but
without a handheld to add to it, without a
right,
3DS to like kind of compensate.
right.
All right.
So like, and the 3DS was 61 million. So that would be half the 3DS.
Whew. Yeah, not good for a consolidated business, huh? All right.
No.
Really quickly, let's read some of your comments. By the way, if you're just joining us, we are in the middle of talking about all of the takes that we learned last night from the Nintendo Switch. We talked about some of the strengths while trying to avoid the cons, or the Joy Cons as we're calling them. We're now in the middle of the cons, and we're talking ad nauseum about the price. We're going to move on for the price in just a moment, but really quickly, here's some of your comments. Charles John says Nintendo's probably going to be stock limited, setting the price at 300 helps them maximize the profit they can make off individual units.
I agree with that.
Asherman Knight, oh Nintendo, you made me a gamer, but man, you make it hard to love you. Yeah, I think a lot of people say that. Daver Hodis, the new Pro has NFC and HD Rumble. Ashman Knight, I think the vast majority of people only have one console, so they'll only have one online subscription. And Charles John, Nintendo's online offering also seems super skippable for the majority of people. No incentive for people who don't care about online multiplayer stuff. I actually concur on that front. An NES and a Super Nintendo or Super Nintendo game is definitely not enough to sell me on whatever their online offerings are. And to be
And
honest, the reason I have PSN and Xbox Live, aside from the selection of free games that they give me every month, is the fact that I can uh, I play Madden. That's why I have the online subscription. I probably wouldn't have Xbox Live Gold if not for Madden and FIFA. So, and I won't have anything of the kind on my Nintendo consoles. So I don't really see a reason to actually invest in it.
you'll have FIFA.
On the Switch, I won't be playing FIFA online on the Switch. I will be
That's true.
playing. I will get FIFA on the Switch. Which, by the way, once again, EA is dipping a cautious toe in the water to
They
see if
need to
they
bring
like it,
back.
but are probably going to run away just as fast.
They need to bring back EA Big. Switch is EA Big level. That's NBA, NFL Street. Ugh.
Yeah, everybody misses those games, right? But EA is just not going to invest in the Switch unless it actually is a proven system seller right out of the gate. Which is too bad because man, I would love a really good FIFA just on to play on a plane. So I guess that's nice. I'll be able to play FIFA on a plane. I suppose that's a good segue into third party support. Were you impressed by the third party support that was on the stage, Mike?
I hmm.
They headlined with Atlas.
So I expected a lot of this, and uh, I view the Switch as a successor to the 3DS and Vita. So all of the third party support was very much in that vein, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's again, this is that difference between this is what I want and this is what I think other people who aren't me will buy.
Yeah.
Um, Bomberman, yay.
Mm.
Konami trying to act like it still makes video games. Uh, Puyo Puyo Tetris is coming to the US
Man, that
and
game's gonna
Europe for
sell
the first
100,000
time.
units and people are gonna love it.
Sonic Mania for Switch,
I'm
which wasn't
excited.
confirmed until last night. We were only getting Project Sonic on the Switch before. Um, Xenoblade Chronicles 2,
That's first
Fire
part. That's
Emblem.
basically first party.
Yeah.
We're talking first
Uh,
party here. Like SMT, very like obviously like just starting development. Probably not until 2019 at the very earliest.
No More
Uh,
Heroes is the same way. That's that. I mean, they literally, like Suda was like, I will come up with the game tonight
yeah,
on a
like
napkin.
yeah. And by the way, that translator who was going with poor with Suda 51, that poor guy. He's like millions of people watching him. He's like, yeah, he's making a game.
Oh yeah,
And Suda
it
51's going,
was.
blah, 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 blah. He's like talking super fast. By the way, that's
Um,
not my impression of Japanese. That's my impression of somebody talking really fast, which sounds a little bit like a chicken, I guess. So,
Minecraft. I'm excited for Minecraft Switch Edition because the portable Minecrafts have been kind of fuzzy.
we gotta have a
Uh,
Minecraft.
what else? Tales of Game,
Sure, yeah.
Octopath Travelers.
Man, they really need a Minecraft at launch for this thing.
Yeah. Stardew Valley is coming at some point. Shovel
Woo!
Knight.
Oh, yeah,
So
Shovel Knight, great. Yeah, I mean, Stardew Valley needs to be there like this fall or
like I
earlier.
said,
It needs to be out this summer.
Japanese, Japanese and indies right here on the Switch. This is the 3DS Vita successor right here.
Can I lay out the darkest timeline for you?
What is the darkest timeline?
The darkest timeline is that the Vita goes away, the PS4 doesn't have enough of install base in Japan, and the Switch is kind of a flop, and all of these developers, outside of the absolute biggest ones, end up folding or going mobile. And what we know of as the Japanese games industry collapses in and on itself, and there's pretty much nothing left.
Okay, that is the darkest timeline.
Yep.
Um, I mostly just have to hope. A lot of these Japanese developers who are making Switch games are also making most of their games for PS4 as well.
Yeah, and the
And
PS4 actually does have a little bit more of an install base in Japan now. It's actually doing okay over there.
even
Um,
if they don't in Japan, I want to hope that the Western fan bases justify those games
well, let's be
because
honest.
Japan is
Yeah.
a small region, is a tiny region.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping that the Western fan bases of, say, like a Disgaea, justify the those developers continuing
Let's be
on.
honest. Just the fact, just by virtue of being portable, Monster Hunter is going to be on this thing. And the second Monster Hunter gets announced for the Switch, that's a system seller in
Yeah,
Japan, full stop. And that will build up its install base, and that will get more developers to make games for the thing. The only question is whether it can sell enough units over here in the US or in Europe to be able to justify third party development coming out strong. The fact that there is really strong first party development out of the gate is awesome because that means that there is a reason to buy this thing right away rather than waiting. And if that's the
yeah,
case, then it should have enough momentum going into the new year, into 2018, that potentially we'll have a nice like slew of third party games coming out for it. Will we get the big guns like RDR2 or whatever real game Bethesda comes up with that's not a 5 year old RPG? We'll see. Probably not because the Switch is not nearly powerful enough for that kind of stuff. If we're being honest with ourselves, I think some people might argue that Skyrim gives lie to that assertion. I was talking to an indie developer yesterday who almost laughed in my face when I asked if they were developing for the Switch. So that maybe tells you something about its perception.
And that's Skyrim, which ran on the PS3. So uh, uh, that's something to take in mind. It's not
Yeah,
Skyrim remastered. It's Skyrim. So, um, but I mean, it's powerful enough.
sure.
And
It's
as
powerful enough for now. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I said it, I I sort of, and Jeremy said the same thing in another article, that uh, the lower power of the system is actually sort of a benefit for that mid-range
Hmm.
Japanese developer because HD asset creation
You
is
mean the ones who are
super
selling 200,000 units?
right. Uh, so
Yeah. Ikmi Maya points out, by the way, that Splatoon 2 is already a system seller in Japan, and he's not wrong. Splatoon
very true.
2 is going to go over big. I think that the assertions that it will be a serious esport in Japan are a little ambitious, but it will definitely be a system seller there and here. Let's be honest. People love their Splatoon. Splatoon was a surprise Wii U hit of last generation. Like, I would never have guessed in a million years that people would have loved it so much.
That's why that's why I'm not calling out arms. I think I I see arms and I'm like, okay, what if that's another Splatoon? What
Yeah,
if it's another
maybe.
Splatoon?
Maybe. I do think that Nintendo really does need to go hard after indies, and it's actually a worrying sign, a very worrying sign that indies were absolutely nowhere to be seen at that entire thing.
Yeah, I'll be as a feature, I'll be talking to indie developers, but from the ones that I've tentatively talked to, there seems to be sort of a stratification in that the indies that had already made it huge, Shovel Knight, Stardew Valley, had actually gotten Switch dev kits.
So they went
Where
after certain indie devs. They
Right, Binding of Isaac, some of the other ones, Nicalis, but other indie developers who I think would also strengthen that overall lineup uh, didn't get dev kits or weren't even like contacted or weren't even able to get into that space at all, which is a problem. But I hope Nintendo, uh, they're going to be at PAX South and PAX East with the Switch. I'm hoping, especially given those strong indie base of PAX, Nintendo uses that time to go and reach out to developers because I know for a fact that Sony's indie team actually walks around PAX shows and sees indie developers and says, "Oh, that looks interesting. Hey, would you like to talk with us to see if we can't bring your game to
Sony
Vita or
literally
PS4?"
hired a bunch of ex game journalists, many of whom I actually worked with, including Shane Bentonhausen and Dan Shu, and said, "All right, well, you know all these indie developers, get them to make games for us." And they've done a phenomenal job. The indie development was a huge strength for the PS4. It filled in a lot of gaps right at the start, and ended up being one of the best aspects of the Vita, aside from the Japanese development. And let's be perfectly honest with ourselves: the Switch needs games. It needs games of all shapes and sizes, all of the games, because we can't have the content gaps anymore. We can't. This is not
Yeah,
1997. Okay, this is not
yeah.
1997. There are too many games out there. The second that the Switch doesn't have something to play, people will put it away and they'll go play on Steam or the PS4 or on their damn iPad. So get games on it, Nintendo. Get on this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and
God.
it looks like they're trying to do like a sort of big Nintendo game a month thing, but they're already going to have holes because you have Zelda in March, Mario Kart in April,
Splatoon 2
Splatoon
in the summer.
is summer.
Yep.
So if that's May, then you're good, but then June and July are fuzzy. Or if that's June, then May an off month, maybe we'll get lucky and they will announce stuff at E3 that is coming out like in the next month or stuff. But I don't understand why they would hold that stuff back. If anything, E3 I would think would be the latter part of the year
Well, Nintendo
and
doesn't do E3.
2018.
They're not going to do a press conference. They'll do a direct,
No, they'll do direct.
and they'll have Treehouse. I mean,
Yeah.
it has to be better than last year when Zelda was literally the entirety of their E3 presence. So it was a big one. It was a big presence.
Yeah.
It was our
So
game of the show, so that there was that. We have to hope that they have a packed frickin' direct at E3 because I think that's kind of their next. That's kind of their next opportunity to really sell people on this thing, right?
yeah, it pretty much is. And they have, yeah, like I said, there's holes and Nintendo's got to fill those holes. And even last year, Kimishima, Nintendo president Kimishima said that they delayed the NX out of uh, 2016 in order to have games.
Yep.
And
Mm, well, I mean, there is a chance that they will do a direct right around launch, like say the day before launch, and like blow the doors off everything, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I have to own this thing right now.
right.
So,
But right now it's portable Zelda machine and a
and
lot of hope.
a
Portable
lot of
Zelda,
hope.
a lot of hope.
All right. So, on the subject of portable Zelda and hope, do we think that the Switch will be a success? Final thoughts. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna go first. I think that it will be a success going out at the start. I think that Zelda will blow the doors off. It will be a system seller. I think the Wii U version of that game will be an afterthought. I think that the fact that it will be portable, the fact that it will finally have a modern sort of online presence, will be a huge selling point. Nintendo will finally start to feel kind of like where everybody else has been in the console race, and that the kind of pillar games like Splatoon 2 and Super Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart will be enough to carry it through the year. It will have a couple of nice little directs that are going to give us more games. We're going to find out about the virtual console at some point, and I expect that the virtual console presence will be stronger, though not as strong as it should be. And that will set up for 2018. It will have a decent enough base in Japan and in the US that third party presence, maybe not the floodgates, but we'll start to see something akin to what we saw during the heyday of the 3DS. And in that respect, the Switch will be a success. Will it be as successful as the PS4? No, I don't. Will it be as successful as the Wii? Heck no. I don't think anything can match the what the Wii did because that was a very specific point in time. But within its particular niche, with within what Nintendo is trying to do, I think that it will certainly be worth buying, and I think it will be a success. What do you think, Mike?
As a quick aside, I've been keeping up with Twitter. Nintendo announced a Fire Emblem Direct for next week, so that's even mobile Fire
Fire
Emblem
Emblem
Warriors.
Heroes.
Yeah. Um, so I basically said what I think is going to happen. I think we're in for a repeat of the 3DS. Nintendo will sell out of its original allotment of systems uh, in the beginning, and Zelda will be to thank for that. But then I think the system will sort of plateau and probably sell below Nintendo's expectations in the holiday season, even with Mario. Um, but I think probably early 2018 price drop. They'll have those games out, and we'll start to see some momentum, especially by that point. Nintendo hopefully will have a few more games planned for 2018, maybe fill in some gaps with Wii U ports, maybe a Mario Maker. Um, I think they can catch up. Uh, I think it'll do better than the Wii U. I'm not sure
Low
if it
bar to
will
clear.
do.
Low bar to
Yeah,
clear.
I don't know if it will do as good as the 3DS. But I do think by 2018, uh, that Nintendo will probably release a smaller Switch, like a 4-inch screen Switch, like a real portable one.
Cheaper, better battery
Right,
life. Oh my god, that thing's gonna need better battery life.
right. A 4-inch Switch for around like 200, 250 with better battery life. And I think that's when it will take off.
I guess we'll see. All right, everybody, Nintendo Switch. You can find all of the coverage and all of the info over on our site. We've been writing about it. We've already had lots of takes. We're going to have hands on impressions later today, so please look forward to those. We got Jeremy Parrish and Nadia Oxford on the ground, and they are playing the living heck out of that thing, so I'm sure they're going to be able to give you all of the best thoughts. I mean, if anybody can talk at length about a Nintendo console for like 50 bazillion words, it's Jeremy Parrish. So I am really looking
Yeah.
forward to reading those. If you enjoyed the stream, we'll keep doing these. I enjoy doing live reaction streams because Mike's my buddy. And we will, and if you enjoy them, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on all of the social media feeds. And of course, give us our listen on our RPG podcast, Axe of the Blood God, which I do with Nadia Oxford every Friday, which will be up later today. Unfortunately, because we had to record earlier in the week, we're not going to have any Switch thoughts on it. But we got plenty of other stuff to talk about, so we will. But we will eventually have some more thoughts and reactions on the Nintendo Switch on that podcast as well. Until then, thanks to everybody for coming by. You've been really great. I've had a great
Thank you for
time.
watching.
As Asherman Knight says, hope rebellions are built on hope. So let's do this thing. Mike, thanks to you, and I'll see you online.
Later, folks.